Welcome to Bull TV, where we are bullish on Collierville. I'm your host, David Pickler. Bull TV is a monthly show that empowers, educates, and entertains while highlighting the citizens of Collierville who inspire and deliver solutions for a stronger community. Bull TV is presented by Pickler Companies and is proudly produced by the students of Collierville High School. We invite you to watch our show at www.bulltv.show, thebullnetwork.com, and CHS-TV 19. New episodes air on the second Sunday of every month at 3 p.m. Central Time. On today's show, we sit down with Terry Dean, Executive Director of the Collierville Arts Council. In this show, we'll discuss the Council's mission to develop, promote, and coordinate the arts in the town of Collierville. From its early days of raising money for the Harrell Theatre to hosting community art galleries and promoting local artists. This nonprofit benefits all Colliervillians. Stay tuned as we learn about Terry's leadership philosophy as well as her vision for the Collierville Arts Council and our town. Today I'm joined by Terry Dean. Terry has lived in Collierville for 25 years, having moved here from Hawaii after her husband retired from the Navy. Terry has held many volunteer positions over the years, including soccer coach, Girl Scout leader, PTA board member, and PTA president at Collierville High School. She went through leadership at Collierville in 2005 and took over the program, running it for 10 years. She's currently the Executive Director of the Collierville Arts Council and has been there since 2016. She loves producing shows at the Harrell Theatre. She and Tom have two grown daughters, Lucy and Liz, who live in Montana and Colorado. Terry, thank you for joining us for Bull TV.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
We're thrilled to have you, and we always kind of start off the same way and kind of give the audience a chance to get to know you. So tell us in 3 words, who is Terry Dean?
Who is Terry Dean? Actually, I gave this little thought, and I thought the first thing is I'm very curious, and the next thing I thought is I'm very enthusiastic about what I do, and I'm a pretty happy person. So I think those were the 3 things that have helped me along with all the things that I've done.
Well, we've known each other a long time, and
We
I
have.
can definitely ratify all 3 of those are very apt descriptors. What is your favorite part, Terry, of living here and working in Collierville?
I think when we first were looking for a place, because the reason we came back, Tom grew up in Millington. His dad was also in the Navy, and he retired from the Navy himself. And we looked all around Shelby County and came to the square of Collierville and just kind of fell in love with it. And that we just decided this was the place that we wanted to be and have loved it ever since.
Well, it's an amazing place. So you talked about about Tom being from Millington and then y'all being in Hawaii. Tell us a little bit about your journey of how you actually got to Hawaii and then back to Collierville. And was it a bit of a culture shock coming back?
Well, Tom and I met when he was stationed in California at Moffett Field, and I was working at NASA at the same base where he was stationed. So that was kind of how we got together, not knowing where we were going to end up. And I ended up, after we got engaged and got married, he did 2 years on an aircraft carrier, and he got stationed in Hawaii. Little did we know that we went on our honeymoon to Hawaii, that we were going to end up being stationed there. But that's kind of how that happened. And we went from California, he went to Newport, Rhode Island to grad school, and he did his tour on the ship and then got orders to Hawaii. And so we got to be there for 5 years, had our one daughter, Lucy, and had our second one there, and it was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Not exactly a bad thing to do to spend 5 years in paradise.
No, it really wasn't too bad.
Well, you have been involved in so many organizations. How did you initially get plugged into Collierville once you moved here?
Well, it's funny that I saw that question, and I was like, well, I remember we were waiting for our household goods that the Navy was bringing to us when we bought our house. And I was like, how am I going to get to know people? I don't know a soul here. And it was as soon as Lucy was in first grade at Collierville Elementary, and I started volunteering and got involved with the PTA there, and it just kind of never stopped. Once you start meeting parents and stuff, you get to know people. And actually, the first person I met who was walking in our neighborhood was Maureen Fraser, of all people, and we have been friends ever since then. So she was one, oh, you're new to the area, and gave me a lot of tips on things to do and ways to get involved. So it's an easy community to get involved in.
Well, there's no question, and certainly, if I had to really name two people who are really very iconic in terms of their volunteerism, it really would be you and Maureen.
I think I've kind of followed in her footsteps in a lot of ways, because I saw her going through Leadership Collierville. It's like, okay, when can I do that? And with PTA, she kind of, had me involved in that. And I just went from elementary school to middle school to high school. And she's a very good example. I will definitely say that. I would definitely agree.
Well, we're blessed to have lots of great people like that in Collierville. And that's really what this show is all about. It's celebrating this town, the values, the people. They really make it a special place to live, to work, to play. It's fantastic. You've had several members who have gone through Leadership Collierville from my firm. And Tasha Holmes, who is now the current executive director, was one of the first guests that we had here. Tell me a little bit about your experience about running Leadership Collierville, and I'd love for you to share with our audience the unique origins of your role as executive director with Leadership Collierville.
Oh yeah, that was very interesting. I wanted to go through that program because even though I'd lived here for a number of years, once you go through a program like that, so much of it is the camaraderie that you have with the other class members that you go through it with. But it was just every day I would come home and tell my husband about, oh, this day was great, local government day, or touring the schools and the nonprofits and all this stuff. And it's just such an interesting local government. Even going to Nashville, it's just such a neat way to learn about and plug into what's going on and how you can even be more involved. And I went through it, and towards the end of the year, Sarah Hansen was the director, and she just got busier with things in her life and decided to step away. So I literally was taking over at the program at the end of the year when I was graduating for the program. So that was kind of interesting, but it was a lot of fun because you still get to meet so many people that go through the program through the years. And my mom was a kindergarten, first and second grade teacher for a whole career, and she always used to laugh. You go to the grocery store and people always remember, and kids always remember you. I kind of feel like that with my leadership classes. Everybody remembers me. I'm like, what class were you in? But we do have a constant joke about leadership that whenever leadership people get together, everybody always says, my class is the best class, 2006, we all do that because, they are all the best. And that's what one of the really neat things we got to do, I think it was the class of 2009, was the one that did all the planning and research and facilitating of putting the Collierville mural up on the Mason building off the square. And that was just such a neat thing that we worked with Main Street Collierville on that. They had gotten a grant, and we kind of did a lot of the legwork for that. So that's one of the things I'm really proud of, because so many people use that mural now, just for family photos, business, you name it. And it's a nice little advertisement for our square.
I love it. I actually was in the inaugural class of Leadership Germantown, and as you talk about all the classes comparing, we were always known as the class of people who misbehaved.
Yeah, there are those.
And we always had to kind of apologize to other classes because of all the rules they had to follow because of what we did.
Yeah.
So I think it started with no cell phones. So.
Yeah, I bet.
So how do you feel that the experience that you had of running Leadership Collierville helped better prepare you for the role that you now have with the Arts Council?
I think a lot of it is just the networking and getting to know a lot of people, because one of my things that I have to do is fundraise for the Arts Council, and that was kind of a neat thing to get to know a lot of different people and the other thing is that we would have leadership classes come through the theater just to see, okay, this is here, because, town of 50,000, sometimes people don't even know that we have a theater, if they just aren't plugged into the arts. It's not, maybe they're just into different things. But I feel like I'm just always advocating for the theater, and a lot of it was the networking opportunity, I think.
It's so important to create that awareness for people, and that, to me, is one of the greatest things about Leadership Collierville. So let's talk about leadership. What would you say would be your leadership philosophy in running a not-for-profit organization?
I probably think the biggest thing is awareness, just making people know that we're out here and what we're doing and our mission, and that we give people an opportunity to act. And sure, maybe they're not paid to come and act on our stage, but there are so many local actors in the Mid-South, in DeSoto County, all over Shelby County, even Tipton County, that come and be in our shows. So I think it's just giving them the opportunity. And sometimes I always say to myself when I'm standing in the back of the theater and it's all full and we're about to, the show's about to start, that it's just a neat feeling that we're giving that experience to people that may not have had that opportunity. And I've made so many good friends through the process of putting together shows.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say would be the greatest lesson that you've learned in the years that you've been as the director of the Arts Council?
Biggest lesson? Probably just always being honest with expectations. Yeah, I think it's making sure that people that are saying they're going to do something will, and vice versa. If somebody's asking me, because we do a lot of collaborative things with other theaters too, and sharing costumes and props, and even we did Mamma Mia, and we ended up using that set from Theater Memphis, which we worked that out with them to be able to use that when they closed. We helped take it all down and put it. But I think a lot of it is the collaborative efforts that we have with everybody else, and your word is your word. You just want to make sure that people trust you, and vice versa. I think that's the biggest thing, that I know so many people in the other theaters too, and it's a pretty collaborative environment. But if people can't trust you, then they're not gonna come out. And we are getting a lot more people that are coming out from Memphis that want to be a part of our shows, and I think that's a real testament to what we're doing. So
absolutely, we always talk about under promise and over deliver.
Right.
And setting those right expectations.
Right.
That's so important. I'm really a firm believer. In fact, I would consider myself to be a passionate advocate for the arts and how it positively impacts a community, its citizens, really young and old. Can you talk to me from your perspective about your passion, about what you believe to be the importance of the arts in our community?
Yeah, I think, both my daughters, my older daughter Lucy was in band all through high school, was in band at University of Memphis. Wonderful experience, met some of her best friends through that process. And then my younger daughter Liz did theater all through high school. And that's kind of how I even got involved. I started volunteering here, helping with costumes and things. And I think it's so much of it gives you poise, it gives you the ability to get up and speak in front of people, which, they're learning here too, and speech and debate and all that kind of thing. But I was in one show since I've been executive director, and I had 14 lines. I remember calling my daughter saying, "How do you remember lines?" And she would help me and say, read your lines at night and all that. I think it's giving people confidence to do things. We've had people that haven't had any experience in theater come and be a part of our show, and it's been a great experience, and each cast gets to be a family, and I think that's a lot of it too, is just giving people the opportunity to express themselves, and also with our staffs, with our directors, choreographers, lighting directors, and everything. So we've got a good pool of people to choose from, and they like to come out and work with us, which is nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
When my two kids were growing up, they both were involved in band as well, and I used to talk about the fact that when they walked into their high school, huge high school, and they went to that band camp before high school ever started.
Right.
Before their first day as a freshman, they already had a place where they fit, a place where they belonged.
Right.
And that is so important.
Absolutely.
And so, whether it's arts, it's athletics, it's whatever, helping kids as they really begin to find themselves.
Oh, yeah, I remember being nervous when Lucy was first coming to high school. They had such a big school. And same thing, she had band camp, and Liz even had theater things in the summer before they were, for their first show. So they had their own group of friends, which is very important.
Absolutely. Terry, over the past several years, we have seen a lot of focus in education, and you being an education advocate as well, on the area of STEM. And it's become almost a buzzword. Sometimes people forget, what does that mean? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And I embrace, and I think you do too, the benefits of this approach. But I actually believe that we create even more power not with just STEM, but with STEAM. When we think about science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics. Tell me why you believe it's important for students to embrace the arts as part of an overall education.
Yeah, I just, sometimes they will even say if you're in band or music that it helps you in other classes and helps with some of the things that you want to do in STEM. But I just think you have to have that balance. And another opportunity, might be out there with you to be, doing a TV production, getting into theater, playing an instrument. All those things are just as important to have those skills as well as just all the science and math. I know that that's all important, but even when you're doing your own videos and things, it's good to have some of that background even to know how to stage things.
That's right.
And yeah, so there's so many things. Yeah, I think I always hear about STEM, I was like, don't forget the arts. The arts are really important.
Well, I think we've seen over the past year with TikTok.
Yes,
and,
yes.
There's an awful lot of creativity out there.
There is, I know, and we're all battling to try and get our information out about what we're doing, and you try and do it the most creative way you can.
Indeed. Well, let's take a step back. Back to the early days of when the Arts Council was created. And as you obviously know, it was founded with the sole purpose of raising the funds to finish out the Harrell Theatre and the Community Center, which is an amazing resource. Can you walk us through, if you would, the evolution of the Arts Council? Tell us a little bit more about its journey from a fundraising organization to what I now consider to be really a premier art-oriented, arts-focused organization.
I know that was probably before I got involved with it, but I think it was kind of a natural progression because with a board like the 15, 20 people we have on the Arts Council, we wanted to make sure that we were nurturing the arts. And once we had the facility ready to perform, it was kind of a natural evolution for us to kind of have a little more say on what the shows were going to be and what we wanted to do and in scheduling. There's still the town side that they still have opportunities to rent the space around our schedules. But I think with New Day coming in and they're doing shows and us, it was a natural progression for us to kind of get a little more creative. Besides, we were doing some outreach in the schools that we would do art programs that coordinated with the show. Or we're also now for 5-6 years, we've been doing Arts in the Alley to bring local artists and live music and just kind of a different environment. So we're trying to kind of keep reinventing ourselves to keep adding more arts things. But I think the natural progression was just to be able to have a little more say on what kind of shows we wanted to do to try and get people in the community to come out and see it.
Wow, that's cool. You talk about the shows. The Harrell Theatre puts on some amazing shows. I mean, really incredible production. And I'm always amazed at the level of talent that we have in this community. I mean, it's astounding. Talk a little bit about, and this could take a while, but talk a little bit about what it takes to produce a show.
Oh, goodness. Well, like, for instance, we're going to be doing The Addams Family, the musical, this summer.
Oh.
And we are having auditions this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So it kind of starts with doing some publicity about that, having auditions, whittling down, who you want to have in your production and how many you want to have. And everything's been a little bit different, of course, in the last couple of years. And we're just kind of starting to get back into our regular schedule, which is exciting because when you take that much, it's almost 18 months off. It's like, got to get back in the swing of things. But you start out with getting those auditions out there. You hire your staff, and staff is one of the harder things because you really have to hire staff like almost a year or two out.
Sure.
Because they're all so busy doing things within the schools, like Chris Luter's going to be directing Addams Family. But there's only so many people to go around. So it's getting your staff pulled together, setting up a rehearsal schedule with your staff because they kind of set that up. We have a window. Usually it's a 6-week for a musical, 6-week production schedule of rehearsals. Maybe you do like a week or so before that doing some music stuff, and then you're just kind of coordinating, building the set, getting the props, working on costumes, and that's why when I say I'm standing in the back of the room, it's always amazing to me that these shows, and you're always in a panic those last 2 weeks, dress and tech are crazy, but when it comes together, and miraculously it always does.
Wow.
But I think the biggest thing is sometimes I'll sit in those auditions and listen to these people sing, and it's like, oh my goodness, so many amazing voices all around here, and we have kids from Briarcrest, from Collierville High, from our middle schools and elementary schools, from DeSoto County, and it's just neat to see that they are just starving to get out there and be on stage, and they really do an amazing job. So
Well,
it's
and then on
impressive.
top of all that, you still got to do marketing and
Exactly,
ticket
yeah.
sales
Yeah,
and
exactly.
budgeting
Create
and
your
everything.
posters and all that stuff. Yeah, you kind of, it's definitely a distinct timeline, and I'm about to get busy again because we'll start rehearsing for our play that we're doing in February, The Foreigner, and we'll start that right after the first of the year. So that's about plays are usually about a 5-week turnaround, but, it's just as busy. So it's just, get it together.
Well, you mentioned a few minutes ago about New Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's dive a little bit deeper into the New Day Children's Theater. This is really an incredible organization.
Yeah.
It's a nonprofit organization providing a safe environment for children,
Right.
and allowing them to really explore their gifts and
Right.
talents, which is incredible. So tell me a little bit more about New Day, and how can youth get plugged into what's going on at New Day?
They already do, which is kind of neat because a lot of the kids at New Day are auditioning for shows for us, and some of our kids, as long as they're under 18, audition for them. But I'm sure you probably saw their Les Mis, and man, the talent, the pool
Incredible.
I mean, I'm sitting in the back just going, oh my goodness, where do these voices come from? Yeah, they're very, very talented. But that is a testament to that program because they do more of their classes, and they even do some video production things. And we're actually going to be working a little more collaboratively with them. To kind of share resources with, we already borrow so much from each other, so it's kind of a natural fit. So I think that's going to be really good going forward. But it's just it's just an easy entity that we both work well together because we kind of work. We're actually going to also start collaborating on, okay, this is how we're going to build this set. They're coming in after. Is there something that you can use that maybe we can do a little bit differently? So cost-wise, that's going to help both of us. So it's a very natural fit for both of us to be kind of working hand in hand.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, let's talk a little bit about the amazing art shows that are hosted by the Arts Council. Can you shed some light on how often these occur, who they benefit, and why are they important as well?
I just think any art, you can't just focus on just one type of art. And when you get people on the Arts Council too, they all have different interests, and some are, different types of artists, and we don't want it just to be, it's just theater. So for 10 years, we did do the Symphony in the Rose Garden at the Smith's house, right on Poplar there, and a beautiful setup, and we would bring in the Germantown Symphony, and it was just a wonderful event. Local, they're called plein air artists that go to locations and paint, and they would come out there and then they would sell some of their paintings. It was a great opportunity for them to be in maybe a different environment than they've been in before, and to expose them to other customers. And similarly, that was in the spring, usually in May, and we would do Arts in the Alley in October, and it's in the alley like behind Brooks Collection there. And we string up lights, and we bring in live music, and we bring in, this year we had the most artists that we ever had and the biggest crowd, and that is really kind of building momentum. Because it's something that's just different, and it's in the fall, it's off the square, it's unique, and to be able to showcase artists and let them expose themselves to other customer base too is what, we want to make sure that people know these artists are out here. And since we also haven't been able to have Fair on the Square for the last 2 years,
Right.
It was just another opportunity. And Main Street has worked with us in the past, and they want to work with us again on that event. So we want to keep doing that kind of thing and just keep having different type of art events. So we even did, during COVID, we did on Zoom paint parties with Jesse Hanks, who's at Collierville Elementary, and we did like 3 or 4 of those, and that was a lot of fun. It was just something, we just wanted to just keep doing something while you can't do anything in person, so that was kind of a good avenue. So we just want to make sure that people know that we're about different type of art, not just one thing.
Well, so if I'm interested in getting involved, then how am I able to give back to the Arts Council? Are there donation opportunities? Is there ways to volunteer? How would they take that next step if they want to get involved?
Oh, there's always donation opportunities. You know that. They just have to call me for that. No, we on our website we kind of share on the Collierville Arts Council website. There's a way to donate and just ways to get involved. We're always looking for people that want to get involved and be on the Arts Council. We just meet once a month, third Monday of the month at 5:30, at the park's conference room. And even if you can't make the meetings and you want to come and volunteer, we're always looking for people that maybe want to help with costumes or help with props or paint the set or volunteer and be an usher. And that's we have a whole group of people that just come and usher. And you can just come and watch the show for free and usher and help people find their seats and that sort of thing. So there's lots of opportunities if people want to get involved, and it doesn't have to take a whole lot of time.
That's fantastic. Well, I think this is really a good question for you to have some fun with. But what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of your job?
Most rewarding, seeing a full theater of people that are enjoying a great show. I think a lot of it is working with all the people that are involved in the shows. I love getting to know the cast, and you really do become a family. And because, I'm there, a lot of times I'll work my schedule so that I'll just be up there when they're having rehearsals so I can get my stuff done and be there if they need things. And it's just, it's a neat process to see the first read of a script to your final dress. To see them go through, what the costumer goes through and measuring everybody, and things have to get tweaked, and same thing with putting in lights and sounds and all that stuff. I think it's just seeing that final product and people enjoying it is what I really enjoy.
That's amazing. Now, you may have already given us a hint about this next answer, but what Colliervillian would you say has made the greatest impact on your life?
Probably Maureen.
That's what I thought you may have given us a hint about that.
I mean, I have to say that the mayor and board they've always been so supportive of what we do. And there's a lot of people like Dave Nelson has always supported our program, and different people and lots of just local citizens that, write us a check or different other nonprofits that see what we're doing and want to, support us too. So there's a lot of different people, but I think Maureen is probably my biggest example of somebody that I kind of, want to be like. I want to. She's a person that she says she's going to do something, she's going to do it, and I want to be that type of person that, like you said, don't over promise, but make sure you deliver what people are looking for.
Well, again, you could have named a many number of people, but that is fantastic. We are here filming inside Collierville High School, this amazing school, incredible kids. What would be the message that you would have to the children, the students of Collierville High School about leadership?
About leadership, I would say don't be afraid to get involved. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, and it's okay to step out of your comfort zone. It's not very easy sometimes, but once you try it, you're getting, like I said, one of my first things is being curious. That's kind of how I felt when I went through leadership was, wow, I didn't know they did it like this, or just learning how it's so easy to complain, and in this world it's very easy to complain about things, and I'll complain anonymously. But you need to make that effort to learn about your community, to see how it runs, to really understand, what maybe you want to do in the future too, but see how you can help. We should all be helping our community. I think that's just a part of what we do. Well,
and you certainly have done that. I mean, whether it be PTA, or PTSA, or whether it be leadership, or whether it be the Arts Council, you have certainly left your mark. So, when you reflect back on all the things that you've done over your career and those things you hope to do, what would you like to be your legacy?
Oh, my legacy be probably just that I gave it my all, and I gave it a good effort. I was honest about what I wanted to do, and I think I tried to, put out a good product as people graduating from leadership or people enjoying being a part of the theater, or even the things that I did at the school. I think everybody should get plugged in some way, and if everybody gives a little, I think it makes your community that much better.
I totally agree. Well, Terry, this has been amazing.
Thank you.
Time has gone by so fast. I want to thank you again for joining us on Bull TV and sharing your story with our viewers. The leadership that you have displayed, not only at the Arts Council, but also in so many organizations you've been a part of, is truly inspiring. And I think it is the kind of thing that encourages other people to get involved. Your diligence in promoting the arts for our town is also something that not only do I appreciate, but that's something we all need to do, because the arts are so incredibly important. And I'm certain that the work that you have done has changed our town for the better.
Well, thank you.
So thank you so very much, and it's been a pleasure having you.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
The great French master, Henri Matisse, was once asked about the arts. Matisse said that creativity takes courage. The arts can be a mirror of who we are, our hopes, our dreams, our passions, our heartbreaks, our failures, and our spirit. Art can enable us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time. By studying the arts, we seek to reveal our humanity, explore our possibilities, and discover the soul of our existence. Scientists understand that at 211 degrees, water is extremely hot. Add 1 degree and water begins to boil, creating rapid evaporation. At this boiling point of 212 degrees, steam is created. We all agree that it's important for our students to study science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, the STEM curriculum. I steadfastly believe that while STEM education is essential, we create the real power of the possible when we add the catalyst of arts education to the STEM equation. Just as that incremental 1 degree converts hot water to boiling water and unleashes the energy source of steam, ensuring that the arts is incorporated into a comprehensive education experience unleashes the power of each person's mind. I believe in the magic and the power of the arts to stimulate our thinking and expand our creative capabilities. The arts represent the soul of all we are. This is our humanity and establishes the foundation for a world of limitless possibilities. And that is my 2 cents. Until next time, I'm your host, David Pickler. Thank you for watching Bull TV, where together we deliver solutions for a stronger community.